Got that turned off. You're gonna get this on. The faster you get these beans cooled off, the better you'll be able to retain whatever roast you want. How's it going? My name is Mike, and I'm going to be roasting some coffee beans today, and these are the 10-speed blend. I've got a cheat sheet here, and I can give you guys this if you want. A link in the description if you would like. The final ounce count would be 8 ounces, so we need to start with 9.36. So this is actually what I'm going to be using to roast the coffee. It's a stainless steel stovetop. It's really, all it is a popcorn popper. It comes in a box like that. You can get it from Sweet Maria's website. That's like one use, I think. So you're gonna need a colander like this and some sort of bowl. It doesn't have to be metal, but some sort of bowl. So I'm in my garage and I have a side door open right over there, and I have my garage door open right here, as you can see. And I have a shop vac vacuum. This was my blower attachment. I cleaned it out, sanitized it with some bleach water, put some holes down here in the tape so that way it allowed for some suction to pass through there. But the bottom of this colander perfectly fits on top of this. And the colander has holes right there in the bottom. We'll let the air kind of pass through the beans and it'll cool them down really fast. I also sanitized my shop vac. I put a little bit of water in the bottom so it would catch a lot of the husk, I guess it's called, and it actually will store them inside the vacuum. And the hot air will blow hopefully outside, because there's no really other way to ventilate this. I tried using my range in the house and it doesn't work. It will smell up the house, especially if you're learning and you get a batch that you burn, you're gonna smell up the house. Not the worst thing in the world, but it does get pretty bad. There's some husks from my previous roast. I'm not sure if that's what you call it, or chaff. That's what it is, chaff. So, got it pretty much all taken out of there. So it's $7, I believe, to $9, maybe $10. It's the freshest way you can get coffee. We're going with a full city today. If I wanted to go with a medium roast, which I do, it's kind of a medium dark, maybe. It's 9.36, all right? And also the hardest part is knowing when to take these off the heat. That's the problem. You know, I can pretty much get it to where I want it, pretty much, but I have to warn you, this is the hardest part. By the way, this is a little propane stove. I can put this in the description also. It's a propane stove I got on Amazon. I believe it was like 20 bucks. It's right here. I think it might be backwards here, so sorry if it is. I believe you can order one of these, just a Coleman. I wouldn't refill this one. You can, but I wouldn't. It does have some sort of release valve right there, possibly. But this has a built-in release valve at the bottom here. So this is actually made to be refilled. It says refillable right there. This is the one I would use if you want to get a refillable. So anyway, the Coleman lasted a long time. I believe I was able to do 20 pounds, maybe less. You'll need a scale also. I wouldn't do any more than a pound of coffee in this stove. This thing will end up breaking on you, connected to a cable that's connected to here, right? And it causes it to turn. You gotta be careful with that. 9.42 ounces. We'll end up at about 8, hopefully. We want this to be done in about 7.5 minutes. If you have this stove, we're gonna crank it up to maximum ability. Gonna go ahead and crank that up. It's first click, boom, it's on. Portable power here. So I'm liking this setup. So far it works. It's like nice little setup. The one thing I warn you of is there's a light here, so that way I can open this up. It's hard to know for sure where you're at in roasting from looks alone. So you can see how fast that heated there. And we're gonna go and start this timer. Stopwatch, it's not a timer, it's a stopwatch. You don't wanna just keep it the same temperature the whole time too. So at the 3-minute mark, maybe 2.5-minute mark, depending on how this is going, I'm going to adjust the temperature down, like pretty much way down. I'm going to cut the flame in half and leave it there for about 2 minutes. So that way the beans can kind of build character and they'll have a better, maybe a little bit more depth. And I'm roasting this for espresso. You don't need a whole lot of depth and character and taste. But I like to have a little bit of, the flavors that the coffee is supposed to have. So I want to bring them out a little bit. And I've noticed that if you roast these all the way through, same temperature, all the way to the end at, like, let's say medium heat, instead of going from, full heat or full flame here down to like a quarter of that, maybe a third of that. Instead of doing that, you would think, well, let's go medium flame all the way through, and I've done that before, and it'll end up finishing at about the same time. When I was first started, I accidentally, because I didn't know what I was doing, I was constantly like messing with the heat and moving it up and down, and I was getting amazing roasts. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Like, I got this. This isn't like any big deal. And suddenly I started to get the hang of it, and I started not to like my coffee. I'm like, what the heck? Is it, the beans I'm ordering? Like, what's going on here? Maybe it's the stove I changed or something. So I'm at 2 minutes, 30 seconds. It's a smaller roast or smaller batch. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this flame down here. Just like that. Go for another 2 minutes. And then we'll turn it back up to finish it out. You can see there's some vapor. Hopefully you can see vapor coming off of there. Hopefully. If not, then maybe I can zoom in here. But that's what you want to see. It's all the moisture leaving that green coffee bean there. So I have this fan here to kind of blow this over there. So that way when this comes to the final roasting process at the very end, the final roast, it doesn't allow the smoke alarm to go off. So you might end up hearing the smoke alarm. By the way, if your smoke alarm does go off and then it starts to beep because it's been years since you changed the battery, you go to put some cheap Royvac or whatever battery, most likely isn't going to work. It's probably going to beep still. Words inside the little flap for the battery door, it says use these batteries, and Duracell happened to be one of them. I said, well, sweet, I'll just order that. What do you think happened when I put the new Duracell battery in there? It stopped beeping. So we're at 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's been long enough. Here, we need to turn that heat up. I got the heat up to max again. My kids say this smells good. They can usually smell it from outside, and they say it smells good. I think it does too. It doesn't smell good if you burn the coffee. If you happen to like burnt coffee, that's fine. But make sure if you like burnt coffee and you're roasting it to where it's going to be burnt, that you are, outside for sure. Oh, and I just heard first crack. Yep, there's first crack. That's good. So that means we're at about 412 degrees at first crack. That means we have 10.3% weight loss in the beans right now. And I'm aiming for 14.5% weight loss. Weight loss is way better of something that can tell you, how much you've roasted it. Like if you've roasted too much, or, whatever. Weight loss is the thing that's going to tell you, I'm coming up 640 right now. I'm coming up on the time where it's going to have to come out of here. And it's hard to see, so I'll lift this up like that to see what I'm at in the light, and it's not quite there yet. Also, you didn't see that, but I turned down the heat so that way so I can control this outcome a little bit better. We're at 7 minutes, 16 seconds here. I don't want to stall the roast, so I didn't take it down to that that lower heat that I had before. But I'm about full city right now. So there you go. Go and put it in this colander here. Got that turned off. You're gonna get this on. The faster you get these beans cooled off, the better you'll be able to retain whatever roast you want, because they'll continue to roast. And you get them out of there. You go and kind of stir them around a little bit, just a little. Be careful not to burn your hands. We're gonna make some coffee after this. We're gonna use these right away. I haven't had my coffee today. I had Dunkin' Donuts and it wasn't up to what I want. So it's taken about 3 minutes for me to get these cooled off completely. It says 10:44 over there, 10:54. The whole roast took about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. They're a little bit warm to the touch, but this is what they're looking like here. Oh, that should be 8 ounces. We'll see what happens. Total time, for cooling included with this roast is 11:27. What's cool is most of the chaff is gone as well. I would say most of it's in the shop vac. I know this is kind of hokey, but this fan needs to be blowing straight over this instead of down at the flames. So it works. Got it up on a ice chest, but it works. So let's see here. Let's see what we got. 8.15. Sweet Maria's will have these if you want one, or you can screenshot that if you would like. That thing right there will help you quite a bit. You can't really go by color, but here's the colors. 18.15. I'm gonna check right now. I don't want to do the math because I don't really know how to yet. But let me ask right now, okay? I started with 9.42 ounces. I ended with 8.155 ounces. What's my total percentage in weight loss? And please just give me the number. So 13. So I should have kept it in there a little bit longer. And this is what I'm talking about. So it's at City Plus right here. I wanted to go full city. So there you go. Next time, I will know to keep it in there just a little bit longer. So probably like around 7 minutes, 45 to 7 minutes or 8 minutes, something like that might be good. With the heat at about medium. So I thought I was in there, but yeah, I guess 1.6 ounces makes quite a big difference. I thought it wouldn't make that much of a difference. I get a little bit nervous because I don't want to overdo it, but even darker roast is fine. City is fine too, but I really don't want city roast right now. I didn't want a city roast. City Plus anyway. So I would consider City Plus a medium roast, I guess. Let me see what ChatGPT says. Would you consider City Plus roast a medium roast, or is it a medium light roast? And also, is 13 ounces considered a City Plus? Or would Full City and Full City Plus be more of like the medium to medium dark? What do you think? Medium roast is typically between 13 and 14 ounces. Medium dark roast would be Full City roast. And then Full City Plus roast would be medium dark to dark roast. That's kind of what I wanted, but I think this will still be good. And I'm gonna go ahead, I got my marker right here. I'm gonna write on my bag, Cortanos, because that's the name I came up with for whatever reason, coffee. Because I didn't like, not having a name to put on there. Like, it's gotta be some sort of coffee, not just like 10-speed blend. But this is Sweet Maria's 10-speed blend. And date is 10/8/25. And this is a City Plus roast. Next time I'm gonna leave it on there just a little bit longer. It's so hard to do though, because when you get into that territory, maybe slowing down the temperature be a good idea so that we can control it a little bit more. The temperature is the one that will tell you, is the thing that will tell you exactly where you're at. But you can't know what the inside of the temperature, the bean is, right? You can't really know, really. You can only go from what the inside of the roaster is, or what the outside temperature of the beans are. And plus, you open this thing, you're automatically going to drop temperature, so it's not accurate. But what is accurate is when I have a perfect roast, I'll have to write down what the temperature was when I got done with the roast, right before I pulled it off, right? So I'm gonna have this here. I know it's gotta come off in seconds. While I'm turning this like this, I need to go ahead and just hit that real quick, just like that, to see what the temp is. And then go ahead and put this off to the side, and boom, get it and dump it. And if I do that, I will know what the temperature is for that kind of roast. And that's what I should have done this time as well. So that's the way I would have to do it. And then you'll know, you can write down below here. You can write it down below, because I always have this down there for myself, this little cheat card. I always know, that I need it to be at a certain percentage to be at full city or city plus, or full city plus. So full city is what I'm usually aiming for, and I will usually get city plus or full city plus. Not really ever like right on full city, mainly because of that. So it fluctuates because I don't know the temperature. I'm gonna write the temperature if I can remember to do that, because you get kind of panicked, and I could do another roast, but I won't do that to you right now. I can do another video if somebody finds this helpful and they have questions. I can do another video for that person. By the way, this Cortano's brand is just like a made-up brand for now. It's because I like Cortana from Halo. Then I thought, well, why not just kind of do the male version of whatever that is, right? And I came up with Cortanos. And I was like, wait a minute, it kind of sounds like Italian or something. So it kind of works. This right here is a sealer you can get. I'll put this in the description as well. These bags can be sealed. They have a little valve right here, right there. Okay. And this is a Ziploc. You can just pull that and you'll have access to the Ziploc. But the top is open and we need to seal that off. This sealer right here, it takes you a little while to dial it in. Maybe like, I don't know. You're gonna have to sacrifice one bag. I think that's what I had to do to get it to actually be hot enough to seal whatever bag you're using. For mine, I have it on level 5, basically, like right below level 5. And this light will turn green, or it'll go red and then turn green when it's done. And that's it. Boom. You got a nice sealed bag that I did crooked, but it's fine. Nice and sealed. Got it sealed off in the corners and everything. It's the best way I've found so far to be able to seal off my coffee. All right, so we're back. And yes, it's kind of a mess in here, so please excuse the mess, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this on, get that ready. And now, the dialing in of this. It's City Plus. It's 10-speed blend. I know that it's probably going to be at about 16, maybe 15. And I have found that these really don't break off. Some reviews said that, when they use other brands, they would break off, but this is pretty good. See how it smells. It smells pretty good. I wish I would have done a little bit more. It's fine. Feeling like a darker roast right now. I'm feeling like having a darker roast. but it is what it is. At least it's fresh. We're going with 20 grams in, 40 grams out. I go with 21 because of retention. 21 in the bowl. Right now it's at 22, 21. Got it. Give it a little bit of water. 1, 2. And took it to 2.4. 20.4. Get in there. Single dose. Here we go. It's gonna be a little loud. It smells good. I think it smells good. You can smell the temperature changes. I don't know. I can. I can smell the difference. When you don't change the temperature, it doesn't have as much character in the smell. This one you can smell like the acidity somewhat and all that. I can tell you that the color looks good. The color doesn't look too light. Not to me anyway. I think it's about perfect. Okay. If this is not coming out well, I'll drink it no matter what. So, we'll see. And it's not. The grind was a little bit small. Because what you're looking for is 40 grams out within about 25 to 35 seconds. It's not terrible, but I know for a fact right now that it's going to be more like 45 seconds for 40 grams. Let's see. Yep. So it took about 45 seconds, but it's okay. We got 40 grams out. Let me give it a little taste real quick. It's pretty good. And I didn't even stir it and it tastes pretty good. So, it's good. So I don't want to mask it with a whole bunch of milk. I think I want to make a cappuccino this time. And I don't ever hardly make cappuccinos. Like, never. That's usually not what I want. I usually want a latte. But that coffee is very good. I don't want to mask it with a bunch of milk. So, we're going with a cappuccino this time. Okay. While that's going, I'm going to get this cleaned out here. Knock this off into there. Puck was nice and solid. Get this cleaned up while we're here, waiting for the steam to come out. It's about right. I believe this is the Breville Duo Temp Pro, just in case you're wondering. I would normally go with honey. I don't want honey. I would if I don't want honey, I would go with caramel. I'll just do. No, I don't want to lose the taste of the coffee today. I don't know what's with me right now, but I'm not feeling it. So, I'm gonna go ahead and stir this anyway. Let's stir this up. It's my routine. Normally I have something in there to stir. It smells nice, so it's good. I think the milk's pretty good. So we'll see how this goes here. Yeah, it's a good texture milk. Perfect. All right. So I went with the cappuccino instead, with nothing added. I would usually go with the honey latte if I was feeling like it, but I'm not. It's good stuff. All right. Well, hopefully this helps somebody, come up with their own way of roasting. There's all kinds of different brands that you can get, obviously from different countries. So this happens to be 10-speed blend by Sweet Maria's. I've noticed that their new classic espresso is about the same, and another one I can recommend from them is the Espresso Monkey. So those are all good tasting coffees. There's all kinds of different, kinds of coffees you can try from them or some other green coffee brand. So I highly recommend picking up maybe this stove top from them. You can get the starter pack, which I believe it used to be 95 when I bought it, but I think it went up to 115. But you get 8 pounds of coffee, I believe, possibly, with this stove, and I think you need to buy one of these separate. But it will come up with some other things. And if you want me to do a video on how I modified this to make it work, when you get yours, you're gonna need to possibly modify it to be able to make it turn, because it'll want to stick. So I'm trying to think of any possible things you need to watch out for. Ventilation, breathing in the smoke's probably not a good idea. Make sure that if you have a different burner, that if the flame is really high, more than 8,000 BTUs, I think mine is. Is it? Yeah, 8,000. So if yours is 12,000 BTU, your propane probably won't last as long, but you'll get up to temperature faster. It might be good for you to do. It might not be, right? So you're gonna have to kind of play with it, and maybe write it down even, like I did. And they'll give you a book. Sweet Maria's will give you a book to be able to use to start your whole process. Yeah, I mean, I recommend it because, I made myself. You could make yourself 12 ounces of coffee. It would if you bought from let's say a well-known brand like Espresso Vivace, which is amazing, and I'm not saying I'm up to par with them because they have a roasting method that they got from Italy, and they brought it over here, and I recommend going to them. It's one of my favorite brands. But right now I think it's $29 for me to get coffee, maybe more from them. So I make coffee for my church. I needed a way to buy cheaper coffee rather than getting on Amazon, going to Blue Bottle, like $14 for 12 ounces. I can make, for $7, I can make myself 12 ounces. So for $7, I need to roast it myself. Some people at my church don't like it as much because I'm doing it, and it's a little bit different from what they were used to from Blue Bottle. So that's something you might want to consider also. But for the most part, I think it'll work out good for you. I'm enjoying this coffee so far. I'm gonna keep going and keep hopefully getting better, and I'll make more videos like this as I go and as I learn, and hopefully this helps. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried anything like this. I've tried it on a frying pan that works too, but this is just maybe a little bit more consistent. So frying pan being cast iron. So yeah, you could do that too. It works. Anyway, all right, my name is Mike, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.